you get done with a project, the best thing to do for your machine is to clean it. And the reason for that is because the thread and the fabric produce a huge amount of lint. All right, polyester thread typically produces less lint than cotton does, but it's still, over a period of time you're going to get stuff in your machine, and especially in the bobbin race. I'm going to go ahead and plug my machine in so there's light and you can see it. Okay, you're going to need to take the throat plate off of your machine to do this. Every machine's a little bit different. Now for my machine I need to take out these two screws. Now you may have gotten a little thing like this or something similar. This is a little screwdriver that allows you to get in there and unscrew it. I also like to use this. This is called an offset screwdriver. I got it at, I think, Harbor Freight. And it also makes it much easier to unscrew these. And once you get it unscrewed, be careful you don't lose those screws. What I don't like about this Brother machine is that it's so low here, I can't get my hand underneath it. Because it comes out all the way out like this. Some machines actually come out more slanted and it enables you to get your hand in there, but because this has a needle threader built in, it needs that extra space for that mechanism. So that's the reason. So let me just get that off. Okay, finally. Alright, now, this is called the throat plate, or the needle plate, and you'll want to go in underneath and clean that out. Because my machine has a thread cutter right there, it has this little brush that sometimes gets a lot of lint in it. So I'm going to use my brush. If you got a little brush similar to this, you can use that. Or you can use a paintbrush from the dollar store, just these little plastic things. Just to clean it out really good and make sure there's nothing stuck in there. You also want to clean out your feed dogs. Sometimes the feed dogs can get a lot of lint in there too. And thread. See that? There's a lot of stuff in there. I am also going to take out my bobbin race, or the bobbin case. Clean that out really good. This is a little piece of felt that's actually part of the mechanism of the thread cutter, so if you have something like that, you don't want to pick that off. It will render your thread cutter completely useless. Also, you want to make sure that there's no thread and debris in the tension plate inside your bobbin case, because that can cause problems too. Now take a look in here and see how much dirt there is in there. See that? There's a lot of dirt in here because I haven't cleaned it in probably a month. Because I do a lot of sewing, I have to do this frequently. So you want to just make sure that you get all the thread and debris in there. Get it all out. Now a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn my hand wheel, pull that thread out. I'll turn my hand wheel, and as I turn my hand wheel you can see that bobbin race turning, and I can get to more pieces or more parts of it a little easier. But you'll also notice that I cannot get my bobbin case back in if that bobbin race is not back in the exact spot where I took it out. The needle is down, and so it's in the way. So I have to make sure that my bobbin race is exactly where it needs to be. And that basically means the needle is in the upright position, and this is all the way at the top, the thread take-up lever. And then I can just put that back in, and it fits right in there perfectly. And I do need to clean a little bit out of here too, because there's stuff in there. This right here is the thread cutter. It has a little knife that comes out. When I press the scissor button, it has this little knife that comes out and cuts the thread for me when I'm done sewing. I don't always use it, depending on the situation, but it's kind of nice to have. So now that I'm done with that, I need to put my machine back together. And, oh, that's backwards. Silly me. You also want to be very careful not to drop these down into the machine, these screws. If you do, try to find a magnet to get them out with. This one's always the problem. There we go. Now that that's done, I can put my bobbin back. Well, yeah, I can put the bobbin back in. No, actually, with this machine, you have to do it in a certain order. You put the bobbin case back in, then you put the plate back on, then you can put the bobbin back in, because part of the mechanism of the bobbin, the thread path for the bobbin, is in this plate. Okay, so that's done. The next thing you want to do is change your needle. If you haven't changed your needle recently, you need to do that now. Okay? Changing the needle will definitely help you with many different machine problems. If you're having problems with the machine skipping stitches or something like that, getting balled up on the underside, the first thing you want to do is change the needle and then re-thread everything.
What do you do with the needle that you changed?
When you get done with the old needle, you need to have a container marked sharps. And that's what I do at home as well as here. I just drop it in, and eventually I'll just throw this whole thing in the trash. Okay? I don't ever throw a needle or a pin into the trash can just by itself, because it's just not safe. They can poke through the trash bag, someone could get hurt, and so it's just best to have a sharps container. I typically like to use the Oregon brand, but this is a ballpoint needle, which I'm not going to need right now, so I think when I get done using a needle and I know that it's still good, I'll take a scrap of the fabric that I was using and put it in there. And then I'll put it back in my box with my needles. This tells me that, okay, this was a size 14 or 16 needle, because my eyes are getting old and I have difficulty reading the little numbers on here without a magnifying glass. So it's helpful to know what kind of needle this is. I know that this is a ballpoint needle because I was using it on a knit fabric. Oh, and this little container, if you know somebody that uses hearing aids, this is what their little filters came in, and it's wonderful for holding machine needles. So I got this little case from my mom. Alright, so I'm just going to take out a needle.
Kind of looks like a pack of gum.
It does. It looks like a gum wrapper.
It does.
It's usually a good idea to change your needle after about 8 hours of actual stitching time. 6 to 8 hours. And then you just put it in, making sure that the flat part of the shank, I don't know if you can see it, there it has a flat part of the shank there. Mm-hmm. That has to go towards the back. Although I do have an antique sewing machine at home where it goes sideways. And then you tighten up the needle clamp, and it's usually a good idea to use a screwdriver to clamp it down really good. Not too much, but enough that the needle's not going to fall out. I had that happen to me yesterday. Ooh. Where I was just sewing along and the needle just fell out. Thankfully, I didn't break it or bend it or anything, but that can happen. Okay, put the presser foot back on. Alright, now the next thing that I want to do is I want to clean the upper part of my machine. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to open this. It's again, I also got this at Harbor Freight. It has removable bits to it, and it's got a little chamber there where you can put a bunch of different, it comes with all of these, and it's really kind of a nice little tool. Oh, my hands are so shaky today. So this is helpful to have. I just keep it in my sewing room. Okay, now in the back, I pulled that out. There isn't one in the back. Some machines have it in the back and the side here. Alright, and I like to put the screw in there with it so I don't lose it. Now take a look at the inside, the inner workings of this machine. You can see, as I'm turning the hand wheel, you can see the take-up lever going up and down. All of those parts are going to need some oil. Now, some of your newer machines, the dealers will tell you you shouldn't have to oil your machine. Older machines, you do, okay? And in your manual, if you do need to do your machine, there are instructions in your manual on how to do it. But basically, when you have two metal pieces that come together like this and they're rotating, that's going to need a little drop of oil in between. You use only sewing machine oil. You do not use motor oil. You don't use things like WD-40 or any kind of biological oil like cooking oil or things like that. You never ever use plant oils. This is a petroleum product, and it's specially designed for sewing machines.
What would happen if you use the wrong oil?
The wrong kinds of oil will dry, and they will get all gummy, and they will seize your machine. If you, especially vegetable oils, they will. Have you ever seen vegetable oil that's kind of dried on the outside of a pan? That's what it'll do inside your machine. And that's a very expensive repair if you have to get that taken care of. It's nice to have a needle. I got this little bottle on Amazon, and I put my sewing machine oil in it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of oil right there in that joint here, this joint here, and it only takes a tiny drop. That's all it needs. If you get too much, use your paper towel and just dab it just a little bit so it doesn't drip down inside your machine. I also like to put a little bit of oil right here where the needle bar comes down through that hole. That helps to give it a little bit of lubrication there too. Did it get any in there? There we go. Just a little bit of oil right on the bar, and then And that works too. Okay. Some machines also want you to put a little bit of oil in the bobbin race as well. In which case you would take out the case and you would put the oil, oh, there's a little more dust there. You would put the oil right in that circle, just a tiny drop, and turn it around a few times. Okay? And I usually like to dab it with the paper towel just a bit so I don't get oil on my bobbin or on the thread. It only needs to be down inside where the metal goes together. Okay, so now that that's done, I can put the bobbin race back, or bobbin case back in. There we go. Okay. Okay, so it looks like there's another joint right there that I might need. Sometimes a flashlight is helpful too. If you see any lint, you can kind of pull it out, because sometimes there gets to be a little bit of lint in this take-up lever. I'm going to put a little drop of oil right in there. Okay, so that's really, for this machine, that's all I'm going to do, because I can't actually get to the rest of the parts. I take that back. Actually, I can. This part here will show you. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so up here, this right here is my tension disc. You can see how the tension disc comes together when I put the presser foot down. Can you see that? When the presser foot is down, that tension disc is together. It's good to just give that a little brushing too. But I don't need any oil in here. Okay, because there are really not much in the way of moving parts back there. This is a nice feature to have, to be able to take this plate off if I get thread stuck in here, if the thread breaks. There have been times with, especially with my embroidery machine, which is the same brand, so it's made the same way, and I have had thread actually wrap itself around this joint right here. And then break and get stuck. And then you can feel it when you turn the hand wheel, it gets really stiff. So I literally had to grab it with a pair of tweezers and somehow pull it out. And I didn't actually get all of it. There's no way to, without taking the whole thing apart, there's no way to get all of it. But at least I was able to get the majority of it.
Would you be able to, like, burn it just a little bit? Just like...
No, I wouldn't want to, because there are too many plastic parts in here.
Oh, yeah.
And that would melt. So now with the older machines, I have a couple of older machines where everything's metal inside, which is lovely. The newer machines from about the 1970s on are made with plastic gears inside, and they're made to break, honestly. I mean, they're supposed to last you a long time, but when they break, you can't replace them. You can't get parts for them. But the metal gears are much easier to deal with. So, okay, so that actually, you can, if you haven't oiled your machine in a while, you'll actually notice a big difference when you put just a little tiny bit of oil in your machine. You'll notice a difference when you turn the hand wheel. It won't feel as stiff. And that's it for cleaning the machine. So now I'll just put everything back together.